What is up, Karen Reed trial watchers? We are back at it. Can you believe it? Karen Reed defense team files a motion to dismiss. Fireworks happening today. Who thought the 4th of July was over? Well, Bev just had her bangs blown out again. Let's take a look at how Boston 10 sees it. We have the motion, we have the affidavits. We're going to talk about how Yannetti sees it, how Alan Jackson sees it. And the defense has added on an appellate attorney. And I believe that this motion is the work of that appellate attorney. So we'll talk about that. So people aren't confused there. They just had to add on an appellate attorney. It does not mean that like Alan Jackson's not going to be on the team or Yannetti's not going to be on the team. They just simply added an appellate attorney. So let's take a look. Come on in, guys. Karen Reed trial watchers.
Breaking news right now in the Karen Reed mistrial. Her defense team just moments ago filing a motion to dismiss 2 of the 3 counts against her, including the charge of second-degree murder and leaving the scene of a deadly crash. So her trial ended last Monday in a mistrial. We reported on it extensively, right? A jury could not reach a unanimous verdict on all 3 counts. But according to the court documents filed today, her lawyers now say they have since heard from 3 jurors that the jury did, in fact, have a unanimous decision to acquit her on those 2 counts. What? In the filing, they say a retrial on those counts would violate double jeopardy protections. Again, Karen Reed's lawyers just moments ago filing a motion to dismiss 2 of the 3 counts against her, including that most serious count of second-degree murder. We're going to bring you any updates as they come in, but certainly this is massive news happening today in the Karen emotion.
You're damn right. It's massive news in the Karen Reed case. Again, good afternoon, Karen Reed trial watchers. What is good? Holy shit, Beverly Canone, what have you done? You guys, we got the motion. We got the affidavit. Let me make sure I want a page 2. Where's page 2? I know I said print page 2. There she is. Print that, baby. It's just probably out of order, but you might have 2 pages. Page 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alan Jackson's. Okay, good. We're good to go. Yeah, so come on in, guys. Well, July 8th. Today's the 8th, guys, right? All day. I mean, we knew it was going to be bad, but this is bad. July 8th at 9 o'clock in the morning, this motion dropped. But let's talk about, I'm going to go over here to Hector the projector. Let's talk about Alan Jackson's, we're going to first talk about Alan Jackson's affidavit in support. You guys, how about this? The juror said, screw the media. We're not going to go talk to the media. We're just going to call up the defense. We're going to get in touch with the defense, and we're going to tell the defense what transpired. Now, I will say this. Bev talked to the jurors afterwards, and I think the defense has a way to be sneaky and to say that Bev is now a witness and to be able to call her as a witness and get her off the case as the judge. How crazy would that be? All right, let's take a look. Let's bring in Hector the projector so you guys can take a look like me on the screen. Let's share this. This is Alan Jackson's affidavit right here. Oh, did it not share? That's weird. Share that. Okay, good. Whoopsies. There we go. Nope, that's the one I wanted. Okay, let's take a look. Again, we're not reading 1. We're moving on to 2. We all know who Alan Jackson is. On Tuesday, guys, July 2nd, Alan Jackson was contacted. So now I know why the New York Post had to put out their little article about Alan Jackson's arm around fucking Karen Reed. Well, it's because good news was a brewing, and that was Alan Jackson was contacted by Juror A. They're referring to this person as Juror A, so that's obviously what we're going to be doing. Juror A, true name and identity withheld, okay, to maintain anonymity. Based on my conversations with Juror A and that juror's description of who / he or she is, where he or she was seated, and certain identifying information, the name and the occupation disclosed during the voir dire process, I was able to positively identify which juror he or she was. Now, Juror A told me, meaning A to Alan Jackson, told me that he or she was seeing inaccurate reports about the split among the jurors related to the mistrial that the court declared the day before. Juror A stated that he or she wished to be respectful of the privacy of the deliberative process, but did wish to inform me of the true results of such process. Juror A indicated that he / she believes it's important to disclose the results because he or she believes that those results significantly impact Miss Reed's rights. Right. Thank you so much. And that would be Miss Reed's right to not be tried more than once. That would be called double jeopardy, taking a bite out of the same apple. So Juror A told me that the result of the deliberations was that the jury unanimously agreed that Karen Reed is not guilty of count number 1. That is the second-degree murder charge. Like, it's off the table, guys. Second-degree murder, completely off the table. That she is not guilty, okay, of count number 1. And that's the big one right there, right? That's your big daddy. And so Juror A was emphatic that count 1, second-degree murder, was off the table. Off the table. And that all 12 of the jurors were in agreement that she was not guilty of such a crime. Juror A told me that shortly following that determination regarding count 1, so they already decided that like right off the rip, and that the jury also unanimously agreed that Karen Reed is not guilty of count 3. Now, we're going to get into that, which is leaving the scene with injury, death. Like, that means like you knowingly left the scene. And it kind of goes with count 1, like that she didn't, they didn't prove their case that this woman, Karen Reed, intended and it was premeditated in any type of way. Okay. So basically you could take your Aruba trip that was like what they use that Aruba trip and those girls for. And guess what? All those jurors said, take that and shove it up your fucking ass. Take those text messages and shove those right up your ass too. That is not, it's stupid. And unfortunately that's why they had the kids testify. Just saying, the kids testified for the purpose of that count right there. No doubt about it. So you put them through what for what? Now, on July 1st, that would be the day before July 2nd, when the jury presented a note. Now, this is what's crazy right here. When the jury presented a note to the court, all counsel were ordered to the courtroom. The note was not presented to counsel for review. Rather, the court indicated that the jury was at an impasse. Once the jury was seated, the court then read the jury note verbatim in court and without providing any opportunity for the defense counsel to be heard. So it's not the first time go around. It was after she read the TUI instructions, that time when they came back and she didn't hear from the defense. She didn't hear from the Commonwealth. But even after she says that the jury's at an impasse, The defense never spoke, whereas before she had both sides talk. This is definitely all Bev's fault, man. Pickleball meant more to Bev than doing her job. Blowing it out with your bangs, Bev, baby. Wild. So right there, they're saying that, hey, first of all, we weren't presented with the note. You just said that it was an impasse. Now, once the jury was seated, the court then read that verbatim. I said that. And without providing any opportunity for the defense counsel to be heard, the court declared a mistrial and excused the jurors. I'm declaring a mistrial. She took off her glasses. I'm declaring a mistrial. And your duties are, you guys are done with your duties. You guys all remember that. Now, number 9, neither Miss Reed nor her counsel consented to the entry of the mistrial. That's important. Bev didn't give a rat's ass. Number 10, defense counsel was denied the opportunity to request that the court inquire on which count or counts the jury may have been deadlocked, including lesser included offenses, and on which count or counts the jury may have arrived at a verdict, right? Now, number 11, nor did the court on its own inquire of the jury foreperson on which counts the jury was at an impasse and whether the jury could or did reach a unanimous agreement on any of the other counts. Remember when I said, you guys, I want to know where they were deliberating and who could actually hear this? And if it would have been known that murder was off the table, like, well, we don't want that to get out. So I'm just going to declare this a mistrial. So you can try Karen Reed twice for literally for a crime that she was acquitted of, in a sense. That is the very definition of double jeopardy. Now, number 12, had the court so inquired, it appears clear that not guilty verdicts would have been recorded for count 1 and count 3. Miss Reed was denied her right to receive those verdicts in her favor. The foregoing is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. And that's what Alan Jackson wrote in his, boom, boom. Well, then that was in support, basically, of defendant Karen Reed's motion to dismiss counts 1 and counts 3. This was filed today. And this is what's making everybody go woo, like this is wild. Okay. We'll talk about an interesting way to save a ton of money and not retry Karen Reed when you have such a blunder like this. And then, this is going to be your excuse why you didn't try her in anything. Let's talk about it. Now comes the defendant Karen Reed buying through undersigned counsel. And here moves this honorable court pursuant to the 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution to dismiss counts 1 and 3 currently pending against her on the grounds that the jury reached a unanimous decision to acquit her on those charges, and alternatively, because there was no manifest necessity supporting the declaration of a mistrial with respect to the charges on which the jury had agreed that Miss Reed was not guilty, and that therefore a retrial on such counts would violate the double jeopardy protection of both federal and state constitutions. Oh my God. You guys, the case law that's in here, this is you're not going to be able to get around this. Because then they're going to go on to cite the different cases. So, I could sit here and read that portion of it, but I want to read right here. I want to pick up here, which is here, the very day after a mistrial was declared, undersigned counsel began receiving unsolicited communications from 3 of the 12 deliberating jurors. This is where I said, guess what? The jury was like, we're not going to the media. Okay. We're we're going to just go to the defense and we're going to tell them everything that happened, and then they can take it from there. Okay. So they didn't go to the media to tell their story. I think that they did it the right way. They went straight to, like, that's integrity. They didn't go to the media. They went, hey, we need to talk to you, or something's wrong, or maybe you need to know this. We're layman people, but from what I've heard, if we had already decided that this count was not guilty and that count was not guilty, isn't that something that should have been said out loud, and that where we were hung up on and couldn't come, where our impasse was on that count? And shouldn't that be the only count that Miss Reed would be a subject to a retrial? So that's kind of how I think it went. Now, so again, here, the very day after the mistrial was declared, undersigned counsel again began receiving unsolicited communications from 3 of the 12 deliberating jurors, indicating in no uncertain terms that the jury had a firm 12-0 agreement that Miss Reed. I'm curious how quickly they got to that 12-0. Okay. That's my question right now, is how quickly did you guys get to the 12-0 on that? Because I think it would have been pretty quick. Agreement that Miss Reed was not guilty of 2 of the 3 charges against her, including the charge of murder in the second degree. Given the central importance that acquittals have held in our criminal justice system for hundreds of years, the defense respectfully submits that the jury's unanimous agreement precludes re-prosecution of Miss Reed on counts 1 and 3 and mandates dismissal of those charges. Affirmatively, to the extent the court believes further factual development is required, the defense respectfully requests that a post-verdict inquiry be held on the issue, and that the court authorize defense counsel to seek additional proof from the jurors regarding their having unanimously acquitted the defendant of 2 of the 3 charges against her, prior to indicating to the court that they could not reach a verdict on the 3rd charge alone. Now, don't you think, I would love to have seen that letter, because is there any way possible that in any of those letters that they said, wouldn't one of your questions be, we have a question. What if we've decided this and this, but we can't decide on that? Don't you think that would have been a question that would have came out of that very, very sound, with those jurors? Don't you think they would have asked that? Hey, is it a mistrial? Is it all or nothing? Don't you think that would have been a question? Because I think it would have totally been a question. And so, is there a chance that was a question? Wait for it. It's going to get really, really interesting. Wait till you guys see in these text message exchanges that they said that they were intimidated by none other than Brian Albert being there at the closing. Shit. Do you find it funny, Miss Reed? Do you find this funny, big bad Bev? Laughing my ass off, man. She's nuts. Trooper Proctor, lead investigator in Karen Reed case, suspended without pay. Hell yeah. Did they already make the announcement? Oh, yes. little stay-at-home house honey. Gonna have to go get a job, baby. She could just find a job on YouTube. She could just talk about all the corruption that her husband's been a part of. I bet a lot of people would tune into that channel, make a quick buck. Yes, they thought it was Higgins. It was a typo. Wait, we're going to get there. So I think it would be very interesting, because I think a question would have came up from those jurors saying, well, what if we can agree on this, but there's one of the things that we can't agree on. So I'm just thinking that the way that those jurors, why wouldn't they ask that? Or did they ask it? Was there somebody that ever walked into that deliberating room? I don't know the rules in Massachusetts. I don't know These Commonwealth states we got to keep an eye on. Okay, so moving on, and then we'll talk about some Proctor stuff. Background. On June 9th, 2022, Miss Reed was charged via the 3 separate indictments with murder in violation. I'm not going to read all that. On July 1st, 2024, when the jury presented a note to the court, all counsel were ordered to the courtroom. See Alan Jackson affidavit, which we just read. The note was not presented to counsel for review. Now, I'm sorry, but I'm going to read between the lines. Okay? They're not going to go and just call out Bev. Okay? But I have a funny feeling, okay, that note, that there's going to be, I don't know if one of the jurors would have went home at some point, then, watched and read, or maybe when they got home and someone was like, God, what the hell happened in that deliberating room? Like, you guys seriously, like, what were you guys watching? And then so like they watched and they were like, wait a second, that wasn't our question. Or we had another question. We sent something in about the different counts. Like, so I'm reading between the lines here, and something is up when they're bringing this up again. The note was not presented at counsel for review. Rather, the court indicated that the jury was at an impasse. Once the jury was seated, the court then read the jury note verbatim in open court, and without providing any opportunity for defense counsel to be heard, the court declared a mistrial and excused the jury. So I'm just curious if it truly was read, verbatim, or did one of these jurors say, yeah, that may have been read like that, but there was a question that we asked before that and it was never read. So I'm just interested to, I just would think that you would ask that. We'd want to know, like, well, can we come back on some counts? Can we come back? Like, what if we, like, are they separate? Right? Well, the juror's note, as read by this honorable court, indicated that impasse was on charges. It did not say whether the charges were those within count 2, i.e., the multiple ways to find guilt on count 2, or extended to other counts. The affidavits attached here and indicate the former, not the latter. We got a problem, Bev. We have a problem. Welcome, Karen Reed trial watchers. Come on, you guys, I've missed you. It's not been this, every morning has not been the same. I don't know about you guys. I know you guys are going through withdrawal. Now, continuing on with the motion. And the court never ascertained from the jury whether its deadlock was in relation to 1, 2, or all of the charges in the indictment. So, like, you didn't even ask them anything. And clearly Bev was supposed to. The following day, on July 2nd, 2024, Attorney Alan Jackson was contacted by a juror in this matter, Juror A, who stated that she wished to inform him of the true results of the jury deliberations. According to Juror A, the jury unanimously agreed that Karen Reed is not guilty of count 1. Juror A was emphatic that count second-degree murder was, quote unquote, that was off the table, that all 12 of the jurors were in agreement that she was not guilty of such a crime. Wow. The jury also unanimously agreed that Karen Reed is not guilty of count 3, leaving the scene with injury/death, because they're saying that if she in fact did hit him, she didn't know that she hit him. Okay. So therefore you're not leaving the scene of anything knowing that you had harm. So that's why, like, 3 kind of goes with 1. And so if 1's off the table, it's almost like 3 is about to be off the table too. So then we're left with count 2. Just so people understand that. The jury also unanimously agreed that Karen Reed is not guilty of count 3. I'm sorry I said that. Another day later, on July 3rd, Attorney Yannetti was contacted by 2 different individuals, herein informant B and informant C. So these were not jury members, but these were informants, and they're referring to them as they're referring to them as B and C, as to not get confused with Juror A, which I like. Okay. who had received information from two distinct jurors, herein Juror B and Juror C, both of whom were part of the deliberating jury in this case. David Arguinetti, he put in an affidavit. In his affidavit, it said informant B sent attorney Yannetti, quote unquote, a screenshot he/she had received from someone, herein intermediate B, of text messages that intermediate B had received from Juror B. In the screenshot, Juror B texted the following to intermediate B, quote unquote, it was not guilty on second degree, and split in half. For the second charge. I thought the prosecution didn't prove their case. No one thought she hit him on purpose or even thought she had hit him on purpose. Informant C had been in contact with another individual, so this is the intermediate number or letter C, who was a co-worker and friend of Juror C, and joined a Zoom meeting during which Juror C discussed the trial. Informant C sent attorney Yannetti the below screenshots of his or her text messages with this person. Okay. Then this is what regarding what Juror C revealed in the Zoom meeting. So here it is. Quote unquote, no consideration for murder 2. Manslaughter. Started polling at 6-6, then ended deadlock at 4 no, 8 yes. 4 no, 8 yes for, this is count 2. Okay. Informant C said, interesting. If it was no consideration for murder 2, shouldn't she have been acquitted on that count and hung on the remaining charges going back to the jury verdict slip? That was all confusing. Now, intermediary C says, quote unquote, she should have been acquitted. I agree. Yes, the remaining charges were what they were hung on. And that instruction paper was very confusing, end quote. Holy shit. This is exactly what everybody was saying. Like, oh, damn. Now, argument. The jury's unanimous conclusion that Miss Reed is not guilty on count 1 and 3 constitutes an acquittal and precludes re-prosecution. And then again, this is going to be, as far as quoting different case law that holds precedent, all right? But it's interesting what they are citing here, which is what constitutes an acquittal is not to be controlled by, quote unquote, the form of the action in question. Rather, the court must determine whether the action actually represents a resolution, correct or not, of some or all of the factual elements of the offense charged. That means the mere presence or absence of a check mark on a form is not dispositive. So it's like, it doesn't matter if they checked or didn't check the box, Bev. Based off of this precedented case law, if all of these jurors are, because it's going to be like an evidentiary hearing type thing, and if all of these jurors say, yeah, we all said that murder is off the table, she will not be retried for that. Like, don't you think that Bev should have looked at the jurors and been like, all right, well, since there's 3 charges here, I will ask you, did you guys come to any conclusions on any of the charges? Because they're all separate. This is not like an all or nothing. And isn't that the very thing that Alan Jackson got in Bev's ass about? It is. That's the exact thing that Alan Jackson got on her ass. It's like you're making this like an all or nothing thing. She's like, no, they have an option to check not guilty up here. Alan Jackson owned her. Now, here the attached affidavits by Attorney Jackson Yannetti reflect statements by 3 deliberating jurors that the jury had reached a final unanimous conclusion that Miss Reed was not guilty on counts 1 and 3. There was nothing tentative about the jurors' statements. To the contrary, they were definitive in describing the result of the jury's deliberations. See Alan Jackson's affidavit 5. Juror A was emphatic that the count 1 was quote unquote off the table. Like that is like we're not even considering it. We all agree there ain't no murder here. Okay? Off the table. That's what off the table means. And that all of the 12 of the jurors were in agreement that she was not guilty of such crime. David Unetti's affidavit reflecting text messages from juror B, quote unquote, it was not guilty on second degree. No one thought she hit him on purpose or even thought she hit him on purpose. I think she kind of wrote that twice, which was she meant to say, and no one even thought that she hit him at all, but she just wrote purpose twice. Otherwise, that sentence doesn't make any sense, and that's why there's a sick thing there. Now, reflecting juror C's statement relayed by the intermediary C, that there was, quote unquote, no consideration for murder 2, and Miss Reed should have been acquitted on that count. To hold that this firm conclusion did not amount to an acquittal simply because it was not recorded in a verdict form would be to alleviate form over substance. And this is awesome because this is so true. Form over substance. It's like when you're weighing the evidence, the way that it would be presented versus it goes to the admissibility versus the weight. Get what I'm saying? Like when you always hear judges say that. Well, again, this is going to go to the weight versus the admissibility because it's admissible, but how much weight is it going to hold? So the Supreme Court's decision in Blunder, again, this is going to be case law back in the day, is not the contrary. There, a juror had reported during deliberations that the jury, quote unquote, was unanimous against the charges of capital murder and first degree murder, but split on manslaughter. The court sent the jury back to continue deliberations, and when the jury remained unable to reach a verdict, declared a mistrial. The Supreme Court rejected the defendant's argument that the double jeopardy clause prohibited re-prosecution for capital and first degree murder. In doing so, the court relied heavily upon the lack of, it was like it being final, of the juror's report. The juror's deliberations had not yet concluded, and it went back to the jury room to deliberate further. Here, by contrast, the jurors' statements reflect a final determination that persisted through the end of deliberations. Even assuming arguendo and contrary to the foregoing, this court finds that retrial would not be prohibited under Blunder because this court can and should afford broader protection under Massachusetts state law. See Commonwealth v. Tisley. So this is a mass case. Unlike the United States Constitution, the Massachusetts Declaration of Rights does not include a double jeopardy clause, but our statute and common law have long embraced the same principles and protections. Very interesting. Again, this is going to be case law. It talks about double jeopardy. Basically, not being afforded the right here the defense respectfully submits that the lack of opportunity to be heard is alone dispositive. Upon receiving a jury note, the court declared a mistrial and excused the jury without consulting counsel. This action, quote unquote, was sudden, brief, and unexpected, neither precedented nor accompanied by discussion with counsel. Because I believe that Alan Jackson would have said exactly what we're saying right here. Are we deadlocked at all? Have they determined anything here? So, you guys, the they're saying that they want the charges dismissed because this jury has already determined not guilty on those 2 charges. They were not hung on those, and and Beverly did not ask them, and she was supposed to. So it's not that this is getting thrown out, because they're saying that you needed to dismiss these charges against Miss Reed because they've already been determined. You understand? That's what double jeopardy is trying somebody twice for the same crime. You can only try somebody one time. So, God, Bev, man, she always manages to get herself in the gutter. You guys, wait, let me show you guys the one text. Is that Yanetti's? Where's the one text where it says that they were scared of Brian. They put Brian. They thought that they put the name wrong, but they said Brian Higgins was Brian Albert. And
yes, it was Yanetti's affidavit in support of.
Okay, do you have just that page? I just want to show that page.
I would show the whole thing because I.
Okay, then send it. Yeah, it's in Yanetti's. It's hilarious. But the jurors made a comment. The jurors have a group text going on right now. And they flat out said that nobody was fighting in there.
Yeah,
and that everybody was very like
amicable. They all got along.
Yeah, they all got along. Everybody's amicable, and they were all just like, it was like, okay, here we agree to disagree. That's how they said that it was being handled in there. So all I have to say is that people that were reporting that were in that courtroom trying to say that, I want to know if Juror 7 was truly crying, or maybe she was just having like hot sweats, you know what I mean? Hot flashes. But
it's also like someone's take or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Me too.
But the jurors were all saying that they were respectful of one another, but that they were frightened, or what was it? What was the word?
They were intimidated.
They were intimidated by
Albert
Senior sitting in there.
And it's disgusting that any of them were allowed in there to begin with.
I love that Paul O'Keefe came out and said that he asked them to be there. What an idiot! What a moron! I love it when the jurors hear that, and they're gonna hear that. Literally, Paul came out in his interview and he said he invited them. That he invited them.
Because they're such great people.
And that the Alberts were good people. Absolutely entitled. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. Everyone has assholes. Everyone's entitled to their opinions.
Don't make me laugh. I can't. I'm doing it one at a time, okay? So,
you guys, this is absolutely crazy. Like,
anyway, we have intermediary ABC, we have informant ABC, and we have juror ABC.
Yeah. Deborah, what's up? She's like, I've been out of commission for a little bit, but love you back, girl. Tom, not guilty. Oh yeah, not guilty. All it takes a bit of intimidation, but can you believe that? For Paul to come out and say that he invited them, and then hear the jury notes back and forth to each other, and text messages were released, and it says that
they're all sent to you.
The Alberts were the intimidators during the closing arguments. Okay.
It should be 4 pages total.
Okay. Thank you. Print that one. Print that one. Good. You said 4 pages total?
4 total, yeah.
I got 3.
Let me know when the last one comes through.
Okay, so basically the beginning of Unetti's is very similar to Alan Jackson's. Nothing is really said. But here's where we get into the good stuff. On July 3rd, okay, so we have the informant contacting me to say that he or she personally knows Juror C, as they used to work together. So here we go. Informant C told me that he or she had posted something about the Karen Reed case on Facebook on Monday, July 1st. He or she told me that she believes that post led to the intermediary C to text him or her and inform him or her that Juror C was a deliberating juror on the case. Informant C told me that he or she thereafter reached out to Juror C via text message and discussed his or her experience as a juror in a very general terms. They discussed what an exhausting experience it was and that Juror C was relieved that it was finally over. Intermediate C told Informant C that Juror C would be participating in a Zoom meeting with a number of friends to discuss what happened with the trial. Today, Informant C sent me 3 screenshots of text message exchange he or she had with IC. I know. Informant C told me that Intermediate C was reporting to him or her during this exchange what Juror C had revealed during the Zoom meeting. The text message exchanges read as follows. Ready. No consideration for murder 2. Manslaughter started polling at 6-6 and ended deadlock. Nobody moved off of the 4 no, 8 yes. She was very consistent in the fact that they could only consider things that were admitted into evidence. I think this goes back to remember there was an issue, did some things not, or they accidentally not get admitted? Remember Lally was like, I think we already have that in. So I'm very curious to, that's kind of like a dig.
Well, the rumor is that it's about drunk driving.
Ultimately, he/C voted no because the cause of death was twofold of hypothermia and head injury, of which he or she was convinced that the vehicle did not cause both. The whole jury felt very intimidated by Higgins' presence at the end. Oh,
and then just point out it says
yeah.
sick.
Just so you know, it was a typo that it was supposed to be Albert.
Right. Not just a typo, the person got it wrong.
Yeah.
Because Higgins, as you guys know, wasn't there.
Yeah.
Thank God, because if Higgins was there, it would be up for debate, like what they meant. But yeah.
Okay. Haley Annabella, it's official. Proctor suspended without pay.
Yes,
I know we love it. We're having a party because of it.
It.
Everybody. It just was outed just a little bit ago.
Thank
Yeah,
God.
they meant Brian Albert. Okay. He/C's not sure what he/she's going to do. He's/C's going to lay low for a couple of days and see where it takes him or her. Hasn't ruled out anything. The jurors all have a group text going. You guys, I love this. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of a mod chat, and I'm telling you what's going to go haywire. Just wait for it. All of those texts will be public really, really soon. I promise you. Okay? Just wait for it. Now, you guys, they were intimidated. And guess what? That was all. You want to talk about witness intimidation? You want to talk about jury intimidation? This was all Paul O'Keefe's doing. And he admitted that he's the one that asked them to be there. And so you can blame Paul O'Keefe. That's why I think it's amazing they did his interview. And he was so proud to say, I invited them. All righty. Thank you. Thank you for telling us that. You like that, Boston? You know I'm right about that mod chat. You know that's going public, girl. Just wait a little bit, guys. I promise you we will get our hands on that, okay?
They're going to be like,
okay.
it was the wet towel.
Stop.
Now, the interesting right here, if it was no consideration for murder 2, shouldn't she have been acquitted on that count and hung on the remaining chargers? But she spelled it wrong. Who is this person?
Whatever. The
She's a
typing is
heart.
with all of the
She
typing.
must. He or she must have fat fingers.
We'll wait till you get to the next page to talk about that.
Goes back to the jury verdict slip that was all confusing. Okay, because that was the informant, and then here. She should have been acquitted, I agree. Yes, the remaining charges were what they were hung on, and that instruction paper was very confusing.
Do you know how important that is right there, you guys? Because Alan Jackson called it, and he wanted it on record that it wasn't like a normal thing. And that's when Bev was like, this is how we do it, right? Yanetti's like, nope, first time I'm seeing it.
No, I can't say that that's the case, Bev. You know? And that's why I titled the picture of this live, "Who's Laughing Now, You Dumb Karen Reed."
Oh, yeah, because she was so...
Yeah, because she tried to like call her out and say, "Is there something funny, Miss Reed?" Yeah, Bev, you're totally helping me out. Thank you. I agree, Sunset Rising. Paul O'Keefe looked intimidating the whole entire trial.
Well, yeah, did you see the micro expression, you guys, that he did when he nodded to the jury? Like, if that's a genuine expression, it wouldn't be micro. It wouldn't be very hard to detect. You just nod.
Informant, he says, what a great experience for him or her. Amazing that they let the Alberta.
Yes,
You guys, this is so great. Whoever Informant C is, I want you on the show. Okay, I want you on the show because I'm going to start calling Brian Alberta. Yes, Alberta, come on down, baby.
You know, it's Albert's, and then it just changed. The phone changed it to Alberta.
You know, that's so amazing. Like, what a great experience for him or her. Amazing that they let the Alberta in the last day. It's like Big Bertha coming through the Alberta.
So we're like,
We don't have the McAlberts anymore. We just have the Albertas. Fuck out of here. Oh, guys. See how much I miss you? Oh, my God. Next up is he/she felt very honored to be part of it. He/she was redacted physical description of Jersey. Everybody else was from a professional walk of life. Interesting. They all got along and never heated. They agreed to disagree and respected each other. I think that's interesting. You know, that's how it should be, because it should not be personal, right? So wait, let me ask you this then. When they wrote that letter that we're all just like, what the hell letter is this? They like, maybe they were like, well, let's make it all sound nice or something, because that letter that they wrote to the judge was like, everyone was like, what are you guys doing?
yeah, we're hopelessly.
Like, well, we're just talking about your morals.
I think it's a drunk driving thing. That's what the rumor is, seriously. Like, some people couldn't get past, like...
Well, I think it was them saying that, well, even if she was intending to take him, like, she shouldn't have dropped him off there.
Okay, but then how is she acquitted of charge 3, which is leaving the...
Because she didn't know that it's causing injury. You have to know. That's why they're acquitted. Yeah, and she didn't know. And they're like... We don't even know if she hit him, but we definitely know that she didn't know if in fact she did hit him, that she hit him. Mm-hmm. So that's it. So that's the way it should be. Oh, knew it was an intelligent jury.
I knew it wasn't.
I know, but I just like to read it like this. They will be studying this case in law programs for years to come, i.e., how not to investigate and try a case. I love it. I told you guys, I want this person on the channel. Informant C.
Not intermediary.
Call me girl or boy. Next up is if they all agreed on no for murder 2, they should make that clear to the DA and the court. It's basically a case of double jeopardy if she is retried on that charge.
They're pretty smart.
Okay. Then
This is Yannetti speaking again,
Yeah.
number 11.
based upon the description of Juror C given to me by informant C and confirmed by the redacted content of the above text message exchanges, I am able to positively identify which juror he or she was and confirm that he/she was a deliberating juror. Signed under the pains and penalty of perjury this 6th day of July. So basically the defense team was like, you know what? We're not done with our fireworks for July 4th. Bev, we're going to just let you have it here on Monday morning, and just laid it like so thick at 9 a.m. Monday morning. Do you want to know what Bev's probably doing right now? How many people do you think she's called? Who is she consulting with? And what are they saying that your options are here? Okay, because this is a motion, which means Bev only has so much time to, well, first of all, the Commonwealth's going to respond, okay? And then Bev is going to hold, like is she going to put this on the docket with the case scheduling that they have on the 22nd? You know, are they going to schedule this to be heard on July 22nd? But how this works is that this is a motion. And so then the Commonwealth's going to have their, 14 days, whatever it is in Massachusetts, however many days you get, 14, 21, 28. And then you oral argue it. I'm in the judge. But I'm thinking that they could probably do some sick stuff here if you're the defense. And dude, try it. I would call Bev as a witness and try to get her off this case. I would call Bev as a witness because she talked to the jurors after she dismissed them. She talked to them, and I would want to question her on what that communication consisted of.
What they reported to her?
Yep, things like that. And then I would want to ask those jurors what was said as well to make sure that, Bev's, like, did you tell Bev this? Did Bev ask you? Because she has made it clear, somebody from the clerk reported and said that Bev never didn't basically pull them.
Well, that's interesting because I thought that's what happens in Massachusetts, as far as I've been told by lawyers there, is afterwards you meet with the jury and you discuss how it was, what the split was. So that'd be very interesting.
If Bev gets called as a witness, I think it's automatic that she would have to recuse herself.
She needs to recuse herself.
You guys, this is if Karen Reed was to be retried, then Bev couldn't try it. This would be a way to get Bev off the case.
But do you think that Bev will just be like, you know what, to save face also, and be like, you're right, I'm removing charges 1 and 2. They're going to be,
well, it's 1 and 3.
1 and 3, and she's going to be innocent or acquitted.
Mm-hmm.
And moving forward, do you think she's going to do the right thing here because all eyes are on her?
All eyes have been on her for a hot minute. You know what I mean? She had no problem getting in Karen Reed's ass like the way that she did. She has no shame. You have to understand that she don't give a fuck. So no, I don't think that Bev's not going to have a coming to Jesus. She's so far past it. She's crooked. There's no, oh, you know what? I'm having a coming to Jesus. She may have to acquit Karen Reed of these charges, but I'm saying I think that we could rope her up into being a witness. And if we call her as a witness, we can get her off the case if they try to try her on count 2. And then they're going to probably try to come for her on that conspiring to commit witness intimidation with Turtle Boy. That'll be interesting. Mm-hmm. Turtle Boy's court is on July 11th, and I want to cover that. You guys, I'm telling you, what they tried to do to him with all of that. 19 felonies.
We're all in trouble when something like that happens.
Yeah, this is our freedom of speech, right? This is anybody that considers themselves a journalist or an investigative reporter, like, you should have a serious, like, you should tune into that and report on it. Mainstream media should be backing the fuck out of that man. Like I said, you may not, it doesn't matter if you like somebody personally or not, but what they're trying to do, like, that's our right. Those are our rights. So
how dare the McAlberts show up and do this mess?
how dare
they?
Paul invited them.
I don't care.
What do you mean?
I don't care.
No,
It's disgusting.
why would Paul invite them? And then
Because-
Paul invited them to go and celebrate at the VFW club. Not celebrate, but wait for the verdict, at the VFW club. You guys know where that one's at. If they went to the one in Canton, if they were at the one in Canton, that's where the high school is. It's between the football field and the high school of like that area. And I said to myself, that's such a weird place to have a VFW club. Like you're partying or drinking on basically the high school's campus.
Yeah.
Like no wonder why that town's like that.
Well, maybe you need that in a town like that. You would need that. Like,
And then I was like, yeah, but Boundary County and out in Idaho, it makes Canton look like a bunch of saints because Boundary County is just nothing but drunks out there. So it makes Canton look like I was comparing the how many DUIs that people get over there in Boundary County. It's like, oh, I got 7 DUIs. Oh, I got 5. It's just that's what they do.
You're a newbie. But it would be really important in Canton to be able to drop your kid off and go get drunk because that town sucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang out at the VFW club. Let me know when you're done with your math test.
Yes. No. Let me know when you're done playing your baseball. Then be over here. Can you walk over, please? Thank you.
And you just imagine, yeah, we're all gonna tailgate at the VFW club and then go over to the football game.
Kids are crying. Everyone's rowdy.
Paul could not make himself look worse. You're absolutely right. Paul was proud to say that he had them in there. And then seeing this is just like, what a great experience for amazing. They let that Alberta in that last day. Sorry, guys. Oh, I've missed you guys. I wanted to keep this right around an hour though. So I am going to wrap it up. You guys are great. I'm going to go get some chicken wings. I want some dry rub chicken wings. Boston, make sure you get some gas in your Jeep. Don't run out of gas today, okay? Shay says, yep, we're all back in Turtle White good. And
you guys, Proctor, this is amazing news.
Oh, yeah.
The city should not, the state and the state of Canton, you guys should not be paying for this guy. For
yes, I love it. I love it for your guys' town.
And also, all of his other stuff's going to be brought in and
suspended without pay. That's a huge hit. That's a first time offense like that he's ever, he has no marks on him.
I pray for his wife.
And no, I don't.
I hope she leaves. So
no, she won't.
Here's the thing, you guys, that town is going to be paying for all of these things to go back in court that he has been involved in.
Yeah.
And that should come out of his pocket. You guys should all sue. Whoever lives in Massachusetts should sue Proctor. So all those court costs come out of his pocket because he's that dirty.
Mm-hmm. We're not paying for your fault. We're not paying for your messes.
We're not paying for your egos.
What would happen if Proctor was to somebody, if he was like, hey, just bash my leg in. Let me just start collecting disability.
I need a spiral fracture.
Yeah, something like that. What would happen?
I would hope that they miss with the bat and never mind. I shouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
Love everybody.
Love everybody. All right, guys, you guys rock. But yep. Bombshell on Monday. I love bombs on Mondays, guys. Oh, and those of you guys that are following me with Idaho stuff, I literally got Boundary County's stay-at-home moms and housewives of police officers in a tiz-whiz over my weekend's performance. People are losing their minds on social media, on Facebook, in these groups. And I'm like, I love it. You guys are starting to finally talk about it. I had a twisted tea on one of the lives. And that's all they want to talk about. And meanwhile, I was showing the crime scene photos, and I was showing how your police officers just literally lied and covered up a murder. But I had a twisted tea. I love it. Deflection at its finest. All right, guys, take care. Until next time. Peace out. Peace out.